A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. I'm Ritvika Gupta and you're watching our weekend edition special Super Achievers Making New India powered by Voicewhat. On the show today, we'll be putting the focus on two very important sectors that are weaving a promising future for the country's economic growth. The spotlight today is on healthcare and education. In the first segment, a discussion lined up with the founders of Pristyn Care, Harsimarbir Singh, Dr. Garima Sawhney and Dr. Vaibhav Kapoor. And in the second segment, Nurain Fazal, founding CEO and managing trustee in Venture Academy, is on the hot seat.
In a world where health is paramount, one company is revolutionizing the surgical journey for all. Pristyn Care focuses on minimally invasive techniques, championing the philosophy of smaller incisions, swifter recovery, and reduced risks. It's a complete reimagination of the surgical experience. With Pristyn Care, discovering the perfect doctor is effortless. With 400+ skilled surgeons, booking appointments is just one click away. From diagnosis to insurance claims, their extensive network covers 700+ hospitals, guaranteeing access to top-notch healthcare across India. They seamlessly cover every step, from providing door-to-door transportation on the day of surgery to managing all hospital formalities. Their goal? To ensure surgery is both affordable and accessible for everyone, adopting a patient-centric approach that leverages cutting-edge technology. Today, let's hear from the founders of Pristyn Care about their journey.
Now, Pristyn Care is leading the way in establishing a resilient and innovative technology ecosystem dedicated to safeguarding every aspect of the patient journey. To know more, my colleague Pooja Jain caught up with the founders of Pristyn Care, Harsimarbir Singh, Dr. Garima Sawhney and Dr. Vaibhav Kapoor. Listen in.
So Harsh, for the benefit of our viewers, walk us through how Pristyn Care was originally conceptualized.
Right.
And what was the market gap that you were perhaps looking to address at that time?
So we are in like 2023, right? So Pristyn is more like 4.5 odd year old. So 2019, we were like 5 people when the first round of capital came in. So we've been building through that, including 2 years literally of COVID. Why Pristyn got started is during around that time when we were starting, my mom, she underwent a procedure, hysterectomy. And I think for the first time in my life, I literally saw leave surgery, healthcare experience. Fortunately, never really required to be in a hospital or see a doctor. But for the first time when I saw that experience, the struggle was massive. You know, when we wanted to meet the gynecologist, the first one didn't even show up. The second one was 30 minutes late. The third one came in and literally for 10-20 seconds, she said, okay, this is your mom, this is a problem. Let's just, get a hysterectomy. And then she said, next patient. And, you are telling me that the person I love the most in my life, just remove her body part. It like scared the shit out of me. For the first time in my life, I was like scared. And nobody really explained what was wrong. And it didn't end there. We struggled from identifying the hospital. We struggled through admission. It took us 5 hours to get admission in one of the topmost hospitals. We struggled through surgery and discharge. You know, we've been paying insurance for 30 odd years, but finally when the insurance clearance comes up, everything was great. But they said, hey, you have to pay 50,000 from the pocket. I was
unacceptable.
like, I've paid, why?
Right.
And we ended up staying one night extra in the hospital just for that. And that also got added to the bill. So it's crazy how the system was set up. I think luckily, both my co-founders, Dr. Vaibhav and Dr. Garima, are also my best friends. I know Vaibhav for 30 odd years. We went to low kindergarten together. We know Garima for 15 years. And both of them have done like 20,000 surgeries even before we started Pristyn. So what I probably experienced for the first time, they had seen with 20,000 patients.
You had just seen it on a personal level. They were experiencing it professionally, day in,
and
day
they had
out.
seen the other side as well.
Well, since you've referenced the team time and time again, and since they seem to be a very critical component of your success, let's go ahead and meet them.
Absolutely. I'll introduce you to my co-founders and let's go see them now.
Let's have a look.
Super.
The fact of the matter is that there are so many stakeholders in the healthcare ecosystem, from doctors to patients to hospitals to healthcare administrators, and they oftentimes have competing interests, right? So how challenging is it to maintain that balance and ensure everyone walks away with that attractive value proposition?
So like you said, there are 4 key stakeholders in healthcare. One is the hospital, second is the patient themselves, third is the insurance, the payers, and fourth, of course, the doctors.
Right.
So if you create value for them, you automatically become more valuable. So at Pristyn, one of the reasons that we have grown so big and so high is because we've been able to create value for each of these stakeholders. While I was growing in my school days, my uncle had a hospital in Ludhiana. My father is an anesthetist, and they would do surgeries together. The only thing they were worried about was how do they ensure that the occupancy in the hospital is high.
Right.
So that, they can do more surgeries, more beds can be occupied, more profits can be generated, and all that part. So, in India, this is a dilemma basically where we always talk that yes, India needs more hospitals, more doctors, but the truth also is whatever existing hospitals we have, right, almost 80% of these hospitals, they work at a 30-40% utilization. So they have a lot of spare capacity.
Right.
Right. And hence, when we started Pristyn, this one insight was very clear to us that we don't have to build our own hospitals. Let us use the existing infrastructure, for doing the surgeries. Now, the problem which we identified was that these hospitals, especially the mid-sized ones, are generally owned by probably a single doctor or a smaller organization. So they might not have enough financial assets to probably have all the latest equipments, invest in all the latest protocols.
Absolutely.
At the same time, very high quality treatment.
And Garima, I think Vaibhav has in detail touched on that patient journey, but I'd love your take on what you consider to be the leading pain points that a patient now faces, and how at Pristyn Care do you attempt to alleviate that, because the company really prides itself on its patient-centric approach.
See, you know that we are into surgeries, and that too we are into elective surgeries. Whether it's an elective surgery or whether it's an emergency surgery, nobody in this world wants to undergo that cut.
Of course.
It's a very different experience, like entering in a cinema theater versus entering in an operation theater. I think it's a completely different world, and nobody wants to get into that phase. So it is not just about the patient who is undergoing that fear, that trauma, right? It is also the family of that person. And when it comes to surgery, it is not just a task of one day, that it will start in the morning and it will end in the afternoon and I will come back home in the evening.
Right.
It is not just that the part of the journey is. The journey starts from the very beginning, that, like disease I have got, is it really the case? Is it like something for which actually the surgery is required? And what will happen during the surgery? What will happen post-surgery? What will be like post-surgery care? So the journey of any surgery starts from, you can say, when I say elective surgeries, it starts maybe a month prior, and then it ends like after surgery, almost 1.5 months it takes to get over. Right. So this is the problem statement we realize, and that is the reason we picked up elective surgeries. So when we say that we do elective surgeries, we believe that we have to bring down the fear, the trauma which the patient and the family will go through. So we handhold the patient, from the very beginning, from the day like the patient has been diagnosed with something. There is a person who is there to help that patient and the family. Let the patient be aware about like what is the reason for having that particular disease. What are the solutions available? What are the treatment options available? What will be the course in the hospital for that patient? How that patient will recover? Like how much time will it take? How many follow-ups will it take? So these are the major point areas wherein a patient and a family thinks, and we try to solve it. And to solve this, we understand that for a patient and the relatives, you can say that there is a stress that what will be the bill, what will be the insurance things, what will be the follow-ups look like. So we have made follow-ups to be free. We have made them give free pickups from home, drop them back home, show us. All these factors we have brought.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Garima. I believe that you've really helped illustrate how Pristyn is humanizing that process. And I want to switch gears and come back to you, Harsh. I'd love a better understanding of the company's expansion plans going forward across not just urban India, but rural India.
We are in Delhi NCR. We have so many smaller areas around Delhi NCR, right? There is Rewari, there is Bhiwadi, there is Meerut, there are small towns, there are small villages. Vaibhav talked about the fact that even though we quote a metrics that number of hospitals and doctors are limited in India, but you'll be surprised, in the top 50-60 cities and in their catchment areas, there are more doctors and more hospitals. They are lying empty and doctors are sitting free, right? But in a village like Rewari, which is probably 100 kilometers from here, a patient cannot get a basic surgery done. Now, how does that patient come from Rewari to Gurgaon? How does he meet the doctor first online, does a consult, then gets scheduled to meet physically, then gets examined, then goes back for a diagnostic, then gets his insurance, then comes on the day of the surgery and the process. So I think there is a huge effort for us that we can improve this entire nightmare of rural India coming to metro towns and getting a procedure done. We're trying to ease this journey using technology, using our systems and processes. I think the third aspect for us is, which is unending, we are day zero there, is really improving the core value prop, which we keep talking about. How do we ensure every patient in Pristyn, be it a delivery boy, be it an IT professional, be it a businessman, all of them have the same quality of experience, irrespective of the income and age bracket. Just to do that, we have to solve 20 touch points right from doctor finding to post-surgery. And I think that value prop is just going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Absolutely, Harsh, and that makes for a wonderful segue into my next question, which is to you, Vaibhav. How well aligned do you believe that Pristyn Care is with respect to the government's larger agenda of creating equitable healthcare? So that one receives quality world-class healthcare irrespective of socioeconomic status.
I think over the last few years, healthcare has been a prime focus for government, right? Especially during COVID and now, of course, post-COVID. And if I list down top 3-4 agendas which we see, government has done, is one, of course, was how do they ensure that COVID vaccination reaches everyone, and then, of course, the COVID certificates reach everyone, right? The second now for them has been to create a universal health ID for every person in India, right? Typically a ABHA ID, which they call, so that the patient details of medical details are available everywhere, Third, of course, a lot of effort they are being put on, like you said, equitable healthcare, not just for people in the metro, but also who are in the tier 2 towns or tier 3 towns.
Harsh, Vaibhav, Garima, thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and we wish you and the larger Pristyn Care team all the continued success.
Thank you.
On that note, it's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.